Hey everybody, it's me, fregrowli, and we're back with episode 2 of Cycle 8, welcoming 2017 in the FMG Cannapy. As promised, we're continuing to shoot this entire cycle in 4K Ultra HD with the GoPro. I've also corrected the white balance during editing for you. Today we'll be setting up the final 2 air-cooled hoods in the FMG Cannapy, finally bringing us to over 8,000 watts. For the newer subscribers, I should note that all 8 ballasts are connected to a Helios 8 lighting controller to run each room independently at 240 volts. This allows us to either have all 8 lights on at once or switch the dark and light periods between the 2 rooms. The controller uses what are called trigger cords that plug into a timer on a different outlet, rather than having the timer installed into the controller box itself. This allows for a bit more versatility and works perfectly with the 2 4,000 watt flowering rooms. Due to a semi-permanent light fixture here, where we want to hang our last 2 hoods, we chose to purchase the Sun System Magnum XXXL Low Pro hoods. This gives us about 5 inches more vertical space to work with, and these should ultimately sit higher than the other 6 hoods in this garden, even with the light fixture in the way. Like those other hoods, we will attach a support beam to the ceiling to screw our hooks into to hang the lights. However, while I used 2x4s for the other hoods, I decided to try a 1x6 instead to maximize the vertical space. As you will see, it ended up working perfectly. With the help of mason glue, I will hang the hoods as close as I can to the light fixture without touching it, and align the hoods to be directly over the 2 4-foot flood and drain tables that will be placed below. These tables actually come out to be 54 inches wide, including the lip on the edge, so if you're looking to place one in a tent or other tight space, make sure you double check the actual length and width before purchasing. For example, the only time I've run a table inside of a tent is within my 5x5 foot tent, as the 4x4 is actually too small. You can see just how slim these hoods really are, taking up less than 6 inches of vertical space with an excellent wide spread of light. Stick around for some better close-up shots once we have it hanging. After retaking measurements of the table frame, hood width, hood distance from the walls, distance in between the hoods, how much ducting we will need to tie in the existing exhaust, and I'm sure more I'm forgetting, I had to stop and double check my math. I mean, hey, I've already set up 6 lights in this garden. 2 more can't be that much different, right? Well, how about we just triple check for sure? The last thing I want to do is hang the hoods and then move them again and again because I didn't properly plan the first time. Draw it out, folks. We've got 1 hood hanging now, so I made an executive decision to take a quick break to wet my whistle, then back to work. Sometimes you have to do whatever it takes to get through those late night or early morning gardening work sessions, especially if it isn't your only job. After ensuring we were putting the hooks to hang the lights in the proper position, Mason Grew and I once again tested our balance on the low beam while delicately hooking the hoods to the high beam. Like much of the work around the garden, sometimes there is no easy way of doing things, but regardless, you just have to get it done. Somehow we both managed to keep it together and not clumsily fall into the tables full of plants across the room, putting the hard part of the work behind us. Next up, installing the 1000 watt EYE Hortilux bulbs, 2 8-inch Ys, 3 sections of 8-inch ducting, and of course the ballasts. Similar to room 1 in the FMG Cannapy, the exhaust system will consist of a carbon filter sucking air out of the garden through a fan on a controller, splitting and routing through 8-inch ducting, 2 hoods on each side, then coming back together through a final Y and exhausting out of the garden. We will certainly be talking more soon about automation and the controllers I use in the gardens. After a bit of cleanup, it's time to hang the last 2 ballasts. We are continuing to go with the 1000 watt Galaxy Grow Amp digital dimmable ballasts. These ballasts also have a super lumen mode, which brings them to around 1150 watts. We do still have 2 Solistech ballasts running in room 1, but those may be replaced this year. I would love to run something like a room full of Gavitas, but I definitely do not have the height here. These Galaxy Grow Amp ballasts are relatively easy to hang. You can either measure the distance from the 4 screw holes or simply hold the ballast where you want and mark the holes once in place. The latter is easier if you have someone to mark and someone to hold the ballast. Once you do have your holes marked, simply screw in 4 small screws to your backboard and the Galaxy Grow Amp ballasts will sit right onto them, assuming you put the screws in the right place, of course. I will note that these ballasts have very little interference with things like Wi-Fi and radio. I have had cheap Chinese manufactured ballasts from Amazon and other retailers, and they don't even come close. Just 2 or 3 of those can cause half of your radio to static out. Not only can this be a nuisance for yourself, but close neighbors are more likely to become affected as well, which can cause a whole slew of problems. Don't even waste your money. With that being said, we finally got the 2 low pro hoods set up and Hortilux bulbs installed. I didn't end up filming the ducting install, but you'll see the entire setup in action in upcoming videos. Things are going really well here in both the FMG Cannapy and at the fregrowli farm, and I am excited to continue to share my gardens, knowledge, and experiences with you all. 2016 has been another great year, and 2017 will be even better. Thanks again for watching. Leave a comment below, give it a thumbs up if you made it this far, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, good luck and grow big.